Alright, so today with statistics we're going to do mean, median, and mode. Many of you are probably familiar with these terms, but just in case you're not, or just a review, mean, of course, is the average. Average. Mean is just another name for average. Median. Median is the middle entry. Now, here's what's up about that. There is a little thing we got to talk about there. While it's the middle entry, if there are an even number of entries, you need to find the average of the middle two entries. And we'll do some practice with that. But if it's an odd amount of entries, it's pretty simple. Oh boy. They're surrounding. So for example, if I had 1, 8, and 14, the median is this middle one. There's 3 terms, it's easy. That's the middle term, so that's the median. But if it's even amount of entries, 1, 8, 14, and 20, you got to take the average of these two middle terms. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. Then the last one we have here is mode. Mode is the entry that occurs the most. It's the entry that occurs the most. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes a data set might not have a mode. It doesn't always have to have a mode. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. It's the one that occurs the most. If one entry does not occur the most, then there's not a mode. Alright, now, let's talk about how to find them. The mean, the way you find that is you add up all the entries and divide by the number of entries. Add up all the entries and divide by the number of entries. Median, the way you find that is list the entries from least to greatest, put them in order, then it's the middle entry, or see up there. Remember, if there's an even amount, you got to find the average of the two middle entries. We'll practice with that. Mode, what you do there is you count the number of times an entry occurs. Count the number of times an entry occurs. Alright, so mean, median, mode, those are the 3 ways to find it. Let's talk about number 1. First of all, so they gave us this list, weekly salaries. They want us to know what would we need to figure out in order to find the mean salary. Well, in order to find the mean, we're going to make a list. First thing we would need is find the sum of the salaries. Add them all up. We'd also have to know the number of salary entries. Those are the 2 big things. So, this one is easy. The number of salary entries is easy. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 of them. Now the sum, you might want to get out your calculator, and we'll put these in. You got 140 plus 220 plus 90 plus 180 140 and 200. Did y'all get 970? I hope so. So 970 is right there. So our average is going to be 970 divided by 6, which is approximately 161.67. Now, does this seem like it's in the middle of these data sets? Well, we got a high of 220, we got a low of 90. 160 is in the middle there someplace. Sure. Later, though, we'll talk about how something can be skewed. But for right now, perfect. Great. Let's talk about the second one. Second one here, list what you need to find the median. Well, first thing you would need is list the entries from least to greatest. L to G, least to greatest. Right? Then the other thing you would need to do is determine the middle entry. Now remember, the middle entry, there's a couple ways to do this. One, if it's an odd number of entries, it's just the middle term. If there's an even number of entries, average the middle terms, or find the mean of the middle terms. Alright, so those are the two things you need to find. So, I'm going to reorder these entries in order. Now, one thing that I like to do is I like to cross them out as I write them so I don't forget that I already used it. Also, I know narrows down what I'm looking at. 90. The next one I'm going to look at is 140, it looks like. But 140 happens twice. I'm going to write that twice. 140, 140. Next I'm on 180, 200, and 220. Alright, so still 6 entries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's an even number. So we got to watch out, right? We got to find the two middle terms. Now, sometimes what helps if you work from the outside in. So the outside, the next terms, these two are our middle terms. Alright, so the average between 140 and 180 is 140 plus 180. Oops. 180 divided by 2, because there's 2 entries, is what number's between 140 and 180? Pull out your calculator and do it, or it's 160. 160. Now, to figure out the mode, what would you need to know? You would need to know the number of times each entry occurs. Now, we're really looking for high frequency entries. Right? So up here, when we listed them all out, 220 was once, 200 was once, 180 was once. 140 had some frequency to it though, right? It happened twice. And 90. So here, because 140 happened twice, our mode is 140. Alright, so that's a little bit of mean, median, and mode. Tell you what, why don't you go ahead and hook up page 2. Go ahead and press pause. We'll come back and we'll check your answers. Go ahead and press pause. Alright, so step 1, they wanted you to write the scores in order from lowest to highest. There was quite a few there, so rather than you listen to me talk while I write them all down, how about this? Boom! There it is. So, number 2, it says, what is the sum of the test scores? Add all these bad boys up. I believe you come up with 1709. And there are 20 students. What is the mean of their scores? The mean of their scores, you take 1709 divided by 20, and you should get did y'all get 85.45? Certainly hope so, because that is indeed the mean. The median. Now, the median, there's 20 terms here. Uh-oh, that's an even number, right? So, here's the 10th term. Excuse me. Here's the 10th term. Here's the 11th term. So it's going to be between those two terms. There's 9 on either side of those terms. So the average of 86 plus 90 divided by 2 is 88. The median is 88. And was there a mode? Well, yes, there was. If you count them all, or excuse me, if you look at the frequency, everything happens once except for 100. So the mode is 100. There's that one. And then the last problem here, what is the mean number of rainy days? Long story short, 11.75. The median of this data, 11.5. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's another even one where you had to find the average. And then the mode 14 happens quite a few times. So, actually, excuse me. I'm sorry. 14 happens once, twice, 3 times. 11 happens 3 times as well. So I'll tell you what, there's actually 2 modes that can happen. In fact, let's go and adjust our notes. Might not have a mode at all, but here's the thing. It also might have more than one mode. Alright, so the worksheet tonight is worksheet, I think it's 5. If I'm wrong on that, the substitute will tell you what's up. Smith out!